so Hall of Fame, we like to highlight specific pieces of gear that are game changers, have been around a while, or are new and we think are hot and think are just solving a problem that drummers have had for years. Or there are no rules. We're making all this up as we go. But Hall of Fame, we induct specific products that we sell, but also you can buy, wherever, and that we think are game changers. So this week, thank you, Sean. This week, the Hall of Fame inductee is the LP Ridge Rider Cowbell. And there are many variations of it. This is the rock cowbell.
Nice.
Yes. It's funny because we have a whole section of cowbells downstairs. How many would you say?
47.
Okay, there's 47 cowbells.
Wow.
But it feels like everyone always comes back to this one. This is the desired sound. If you're playing Grand Funk Railroad, you need this cowbell. We're an American band. You need this cowbell.
Yeah.
Don't get
That's
the
the
little
sound.
dinky one that goes ding, 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 for that song. No, you need this one. Also, what does this thing do here?
Yeah. The it's called a Ridge Rider because it's got a plastic ridge riveted on there.
Yeah.
And the nice part about that, a couple of things. One that people don't talk about too much is that actually helps dampen the sound.
Yes,
So
it does.
a lot of cowbells are, you'd be surprised. You can even look at a large cowbell and you hit it, and it's got those high overtones that rings out a little bit longer. And people end up taping them or dampening them with different things. There's little things you can buy to stick in them, but a lot of times people duct tape, electrical tape, whatever it is to get it to be a little bit more controlled. That ridge does that a lot, and then it also keeps you from shredding up your sticks.
Sure does.
Yeah. I was going to say, you could hit that about 14 million times and it'll still be there.
Yeah. And we see these things come in used, too. And they're beat to hell, and it's still intact.
Yeah.
It's still intact. It's still, functioning and ready to go. And this thing has been produced for years and years and years. But, like I said earlier, it's one of those cowbells where someone says, wow, we need a cowbell. And we're going through and we're testing out all the different versions and the styles and the makes and the models. And they always come back to this one.
LP Ridge Rock.
Yep.
Ridge Rider.
Ridge Rider Rock, yep.
Yeah, it's
Because
the
they
rock
also
one.
make a Ridge Rider non-rock, I believe, and it's a little wider.
Yeah, there's a standard one, and
Yeah.
then there's a lot of artist model cowbells. They like they've been playing the
Ridge,
Ridge
yeah.
Rider. So
Tommy Lee has the...
Tommy Lee's has that. What was the one we just got in? It's not a Bell Diablo, but it looks like that. It's the
Joey Jordison.
Joey Jordison signature one. Which
Well,
is that discontinued?
It absolutely is discontinued.
Thank you, Hershey Percussion. That came straight from Hershey Percussion.
Right. We have the
Yeah.
Joey Jordison signature model Pearl cowbell in stock. You can't... brand new in packaging. Wow. Not touched by human hands.
Oh boy, here we go. Not touching. The salesman comes out. That thing's got these horns riveted onto it. It looks metal, man. But let's talk about bells for a minute. What comes up in a lot of the stuff that you're playing? Is there a traditional? I know we played. I think we were playing at Go-Go's downstairs at the One Drum Circle, and
Right.
and obviously cowbells come in all variety of sizes and different colors, materials. What do you typically gravitate towards?
Well, the traditional West African style, which I've had a lot of study in, they have interesting handmade bells that are kind of like, two things, and there's they're open on the sides with just like two flat pieces that have been bent over and hammered and heated and whatnot.
Yeah.
And they typically in the traditional style, they will attach that to the drum, and one drummer would play, the dunumba, the big one, or the sangba in the middle, or the kinkini, the high one, but everybody's got a bell, and typically bigger bell, bigger drum, and they sort of tune them that way. And they, the bells can be heard by everybody. Sometimes drummers get a little distance apart, and, you can kind of lose track if you're not really there. But bell, dee, 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 those things just are the glue. So what bells do I play? I love bells, all kinds of bells. I mean, like downstairs you got Meinl, a go-go bell. It's a great little bell. Love that, I have some handmade little cone-shaped thing with a slit cut in them, so each side's tuned differently. Those are super fun. But I guess I probably play different. I have 5 different agogo bells myself, and that's probably my favorite to play.
Yeah, get a couple different tones in there, and you can manipulate it a little bit depending on where you're holding it. And
Right.
I think I watched a video. It was I don't know if it was Adam from Minel put it up or it was just a Minel in general because I follow him on social media, but they put up a couple of different cowbells and just played some rhythms on it, and I thought that was kind of neat because as a drum set player, which I am, you usually only have one cowbell. So, but there's different bells and things to play different tones all over your drum set, so you can do all that.
Yeah.
But it's kind of neat, like wow, if you had just even a go-go bells on your drum set, the different melodic notes you can do, and just thinking outside the box as far as drum set playing goes. Everyone just thinks it's just playing rock and roll and all that kinds of stuff.
Yeah, it doesn't.
There's so much more you can do to it. Just adding those different effects and those different bells, and
It doesn't always have to be eighth notes on a big
to be.
fat bell.
You don't
It
have
definitely
to
does not.
boom ba boom boom ba boom ba.
Yeah. And there's all sorts of things that you can do with them, and where you can mount them really changes things too. I didn't realize until I started working here, after I played drums for a while, that it doesn't have to be right here on the bass drum. There's mounts for everything, off cymbal stands, off side clamps, off your hi-hat, off rims on your drums. You can get a bell mounted anywhere, and it really just changes it changes your perspective of the drums. My favorite thing to do is if I'm feeling like I'm in a rut a little bit with drumming, or I don't feel that motivated to sit down and play, switch something up. It can be as simple as moving a ride up and tilting it down a little bit, flattening something out, taking off a rack tom. I'm not going to play with a rack tom.
Right.
And see what that gives me. Just a different perspective, sitting behind the same instrument even sometimes, but just rearranged or moved around, and that can be the difference. You put a bell attached to something, all of a sudden your brain goes wild.
And now that I'm thinking about it, I think early on, I think the cowbell was my first real add-on accessory to my set. And for years I had it on there, and then for years I didn't. And I just put the cowbell back on maybe a year ago onto my set, and it been in my percussion bag for years. And then I thought, I'm going to break this thing out. And I just, me and my buddy wrote a new song involving the cowbell, which is kind of funny. And that's kind of the theme of the song is that driving cowbell beat. And had I not brought that cowbell back out, we wouldn't have come up with that, So it's kind of neat.
Saturday Night Live probably did a lot for cowbells.
Oh, for sure. Oh, my gosh.
More
You kidding me?
cowbell.
You know how many times I've heard that joke?
Can't tell
So
ya.
many. Yeah.
Can't tell you. I recently got blindsided. I went to see a band at Mickey's Black Box. That was the first time I was over there. That place is crazy, by the way. Anyone in our area, Mickey's Black Box is nuts. They've got like the best equipment, the best lighting. Like it's wild over there. And I'm glad they're doing a lot more shows now because there were only a few. It wasn't too many, and there were a couple ticketed events and stuff. But now they're starting to involve some more local musicians, which is rad. Love it, support it. But I went there and I saw the Corsair Blue Jazz Orchestra. My cousin plays saxophone in there, so it's like a big band. There are people dancing. It was wild. It was really cool.
Yeah.
But completely different than anything I play. You know what I mean? That's why I love going to a show like that. I'm like, this is nuts. But anyway, they must have made like 4 or 5 more cowbell jokes in their show between their director and the drummer.
And it probably cracked up the audience, too.
It did.
Right? Everyone laughed.
And I sat there pouting.
You're like, it's
No.
not funny.
Not funny. I've heard it before. I'm not here to have fun.
Look, more cowbell.
Play some more music, please. No, but it comes up. But awesome. LP Ridge Rider Cowbell. Huge. I mean, insanely popular item.
Check it
that has like, even the different versions of it is an iconic rock cowbell sound. So I think that's why it's sustained, and I think there's always going to be a Ridge Rider Cowbell.
This, I think this thing is on wrong.
Header card.
Yeah, the header card's on wrong.
Someone probably took it off and mounted it.
I think so.
All right. Well, we'll fix it.
Yeah.
All right. So let's move on. We got one more segment before we dive into Ed's story here. Quick question.